turning 250, and it's time to rock out with our forefathers. American-made, battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style. Wear your American pride loud. Trendjackers.etsy.com. Grab yours before the fireworks.
Tony, welcome to go.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I gotta pat you down though, pal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Got anything on you? Anything I should know?
I got nothing.
Anything weird going on?
What?
Alright, you go in, Tony. Good.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly of The Tom Kelly Show. Yes, this is not the only time I've gotten on my knees in the back room of a comedy club.
The Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. Give Two Eagles Auto Body a call and please ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. That's 516-328-2527.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony on the Knock 'em Dead radio show. They're gonna keep knocking 'em dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie.
Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, at Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio.
I just want to say thanks for making my millennium. Oh my gosh. Well, it's a love fest.
Yeah, you heard that story.
Yeah.
So I guess should I tell it again?
Oh yeah, if you want. I mean, yeah.
You know, you guys are into comedy. Does it really help when somebody gives the punchline?
Let's give a big shout out to Tony Walker.
Tony Walker, who's a friend of mine.
Tony Walker.
Tony Walker. Tony Walker, everybody. Stand up, Tony. Where are you? Tony Walker. Thank you so much, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Walker. Our favorite. We love you.
Knock 'em dead. Comedy show.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. It is Thursday. Welcome to the Knock 'em Dead Comedy Show here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate it. We appreciate the support very much. But if you'd like to join today's conversation, be a part of the show, hear your name read, hear your comments read, please switch over to YouTube because that is where we monitor the comments. If you want to stay on Facebook, we appreciate it. And you can stay there if you want, but if you want to join in the conversation, head on over to YouTube because that is where we monitor the comments, like John Rusiello just did. Good morning, Walker Brothers and guest. And wherever you're watching from, it's very much appreciated, but we ask wherever you're watching from that you share the link on all your socials. Tell everybody you know about all the great shows here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. Frank is here, ladies and gentlemen. There he is.
Good morning.
All right. Sorry. I'm not supposed to burp. I keep forgetting. All right, first question right off the bat. Have you heard from our guest?
Yeah, I just talked to him a few minutes ago. Should be there any second.
Oh, okay. Because I did see, I got an email at 9 o'clock this morning saying that he joined the Zoom.
Oh. No, he just wrote to me asking how to share the link to the video.
All right, well, I tagged him on Facebook.
Okay, and I told him that we're signing on now, so he should be here any second.
We are awaiting the arrival of Lee Finkelstein.
Yes.
He is a drummer who's played with pretty much everybody. His steady gigs are Funk Philharmonic, which is, they're Long Island based, but I do believe they play everywhere. Lee is also the drummer for the original Blues Brothers band.
Yep.
And then he drums, with Tower of Power and some other bands. And like I said, he's played with everybody. And he's also a Hicksville guy. So we're going to talk to him if he joins in. All right. Well, while we're waiting, are you all right over there? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm messaging him, make sure he's all right.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Have you looked at your Dropbox today?
I have not.
Have you received an email or any kind of notification from Dropbox?
I'm checking it right now. I have not seen it yet, but let me see. Nothing on that one. There's another one I can check. Hang on, let me see. Not yet.
Or you could just go to Dropbox.
True. Let me go there and see.
Oh, I do believe our
There
guest
he
has
is.
arrived. All right, hang on a second. Let me adjust some cameras here so that we can see everybody. Hang on 2 seconds. Hang on.
I'm hanging.
All right, cool. All right, let me do this. All right, let me do that. Hang on. Because once I got you both on Zoom, everything just kind of went a little wonky on me. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
Let me do that. Let me do this.
Great background, Frank.
Thank you. Figured you'd like that.
Yeah. I was trying to get a background here, but I haven't used Zoom since I had COVID. So,
Oh, geez.
it's like I was like, no, I had to like download a new, the app on the on my computer, but it's working.
I think I think that's when everybody was using it when it was it was Zoom based. I personally hate it, but what are you going to do? Ladies and gentlemen, joining us here on the show this morning, the one, the only drummer extraordinaire, Lee Finkelstein is here, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Thank you.
Nice to see you, sir. How are you?
I'm good. It's nice to finally do this, Tony. I remember, we talked about it a couple of years ago, and then it never materialized, and then thankfully, Frank contacted me and said, "Let's do it."
It took Frank joining in to get you on this show. You wouldn't do it with just me. I cried for several days. And did some therapy for about 6 months, but it all worked out okay. We're just glad you're here. It's nice to see you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just gonna lower the volume a little because it's a little.
I'm too loud for you.
No, it's my ears. I have hearing aids.
Oh,
so I hear you perfectly.
Do you is that from years of sex, drugs, and rock and roll? Is that
I couldn't resist. Yeah. I mean, I could talk about it, and I'd like to talk about it because, like, any young drummers, any young musicians, anyone, please protect yourself. Safe sound.
Safe sound. I like it.
It's a must. I mean, my experience with them, 30 plus years ago, I started getting regular hearing tests, and I did the damage. So I did the damage like the first 30 years because that was playing in clubs and loud and and earplugs. I'm not wearing earplugs,
Right. I'm indestructible. I'm cool. I don't need that.
So I did the damage, and then I started wearing custom molded hearing protection, 20 or 25 dB attenuators, built-in little filters.
Yeah.
For the next 30. And you know what? My hearing hasn't really gotten that much worse over the last 30 plus years because I've been wearing those.
Oh,
if
nice.
I hadn't been wearing those, I'd be reading your lips right now.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just, it's so important. You're a musician, you have to hear. You have to hear too, so you don't get hit by a car. But
Well, I'm really glad.
Nice.
So I had to do it. Had to do it.
There you go. No, don't get me started.
Yeah.
And that's what. The clubs, especially because the clubs are so tight and so small. Like usually, the drummer is behind the amps, but that's usually with the larger arenas. Like the clubs are just they put amps wherever they can fit them, right? So that's
right.
That's what really does the damage, right?
And open back guitar amps sometimes louder in the back than they are.
Oh wow.
When my hair starts moving from the amp in front of me, and it's just, it's the nature of the beast. It's, you're playing rock and roll. You can't play rock and roll like this,
Right.
If you got you got to go for it. You got to play the sound. But more than that, sitting over a snare drum for 3 or 4 hours. Think about how many backbeats go down. It would be like, I want to go to the pistol range and shoot my pistol for 3 hours with no protection.
Right.
Are you nuts? Like you would never, you know what I mean?
Right. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. No, so do it, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Public service announcement.
Right. I am not the musician. That's Frank. But I'll tell you, I hear the buzzing in my ear every night when I go to bed, and and it's all quiet. It's there. I for probably 30 years myself. And in fact, I even remember when it started. I went to in '89. I went to a Who concert. It was their first reunion, tour, and they had the horn section and backup musicians. And I remember going home that night and hearing the buzz in my, while I was laying in bed, and it hasn't stopped.
Yeah, well, when you abuse the cilia, when you abuse your ears like that for night, if you let your ears rest a couple of days after that, it doesn't do as much damage.
Okay.
But if you do it night after night, it's just it's a barrage, and the cilia in your ear just says, "No, I'm not getting up this morning."
Right.
Right.
Wow.
And once those are down, this old timer audiologist I went to, one of the first guys I went to, he was an old timer in New York City. Like Ed Koch was one of his patients,
Oh, wow.
and this old timer, and he said this was just when like Viagra came out, right? And he says to me, the guy that invented Viagra, he made a lot of money. He said, but the guy that invents the pill that makes the hair in your ear stand up, he'll make a lot of money.
They're both making things stand up.
They can get that to anyway. Viagra, right?
All right. Well, there's your public service announcement. Thanks, Lee. Thanks a lot. Thanks for
Okay,
that.
thank you. Good night. Try the veal. We're here all week.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, all right. Actually, that's a perfect segue to get this started,
Right.
because I'm here in Governors in Levittown, one of the best comedy clubs in the whole country.
Yeah.
Now, Governors here in Levittown, we also have Governors at McGuire's in Bohemia. There's also Governors also owns the brokerage in Belmore, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is that where Funk Philharmonic made their debut?
That's where Funk Philharmonic made their debut. Before we go any further, I want to continue on that. I just need to shout out to two other Hicksville homies, my brother and sister Eric and Ellen. It's their birthday today.
Oh,
I don't
very
know
nice.
if you're watching, but they're twins. We call them the twins. But happy birthday, Ellen, and happy birthday to Eric. Frank may know. I don't know if Frank knew them, back in the day, but I think you guys are way younger.
What year did you What year did you graduate high school?
75.
Yeah, you're a little bit older than us.
Yeah. I'm 85.
Yeah. You don't look a day over 84.
Well, yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, so you're
Which is
you're 10 years behind, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Frank is he's behind in many regards.
Oh,
Hey, but I'm
big behind.
Where's my rim shot, Lee? Where is it?
No, I don't have. Actually, I have a video with a rim shot I send out on my phone. I don't know if I can probably send it to you right now.
Yeah.
No, I don't have. Can I afford you? I don't know.
I get a residual every time it's used, but it's pennies, because that's how musicians get paid now, by pennies. They stopped making the pennies, so how are we going to get paid now?
I was just about to say that maybe with the penny stopping, maybe you're getting a raise to a nickel per rim shot. Who knows?
Right. Then I woke up.
Yeah.
So the brokerage, yes. Gary Smith, who was the proprietor.
Sure.
Yep. In fact, tomorrow is the actual anniversary of the very first Funk Philharmonic show on 1985.
The 40th anniversary. See, we knew that. That's why we brought you on today.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's how good we are
Yeah.
here.
So it's the 40. We have the 40th coming up. We're waiting till after the holiday. Usually we do it like right on Thanksgiving, but we said, you know what? Let's do it afterwards so everyone can kind of relax and enjoy. So Funk Philharmonic was you want the story, or do you want the
whatever you feel like talking about, pal.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean it was a bunch of guys doing gigs around the island, club dates and clubs and some touring, and kind of my partner Ozzy Melendez, kind of his brainchild. He wanted to start a big band, like a band playing Tower Power and Earth, Wind and Fire, but with all the horns, with 5 horns, and really do it right. And he and Alex Stewart, Alex was playing with the Jim Pin Band on Monday nights at Canterbury's. And that's a whole other pretty legendary, if I say so myself. It was amazing nights. And Alex said, well, I got the rhythm section. And Ozzy and he came down, to Canterbury's in Huntington one night, and I heard the Jim Pin band, and then we said, "You guys want to do a Tower Power thing?" We all loved Tower Power music, and we started rehearsing on Tuesday afternoons. Just everyone chipped in like $2 for a rehearsal.
Nice.
Guys wrote out charts, and it was just for the fun of playing that music. We all loved it, and all of a sudden we had a book. We had like a couple of like 2 sets of music. My brother Steven went to Gary at the brokerage. We were all playing at the brokerage at that time. He used to do, it was so great. Thursday, I think back then he had like jazz and fusion night. He had original night. He was really supportive of, it was before tribute bands or any of that.
Right.
It was like a lot of original Jim Small band, and you guys probably remember.
Yes.
And it was really a great room. I used to play there with a band called Eclipse, and lots of others. So it was like the showcase room for Long Island. So my brother approached Gary and said, "Hey, we just started this band, and we had been rehearsing. We started rehearsing like June, and we used to do it pretty religiously, like every week, every Tuesday afternoon. And if you couldn't make it, you sent a sub, because there was a book, and the guy read the book and play. And it just turned into like this, a lot of fun playing that music, getting together and playing that. We booked the gig, and I remember there were lines around the block because there were, it was like 12 guys, 13 guys in a band. Each told one, they told one that, like the shampoo commercial, right. And the word got out. And it was, some of the really good players on Long Island collectively. And we packed it, and then we started doing it once a month, and we continued at the brokerage for 15 years.
No kidding.
Playing the last Thursday of every month for 15 years. Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was just incredible. I mean, and I run into people now and they say, "Man, I used to go see you guys. I used to, sneak into the brokerage, underage, whatever." And it was such a great scene. I met so many great players there. And then having that band, not all the guys could make it all the time. So substitutes started coming in. And then we get like some heavy hitters from New York City, some like really, well-known. And it was like, oh, we got to go. I'm going to go play with the Funk Philharmonic, because it was a killer band.
Oh, yeah, man.
It was fun.
Yeah. I remember that too. That was the big, the big talk of, who's, like you guys were one of the main bands to see, back in those days. There weren't a lot of bands that had 5 horns and percussion and 2 singers. It was a big deal. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, and the brokerage was it was a fun place to see a show back then too. Unfortunately, the same here at Governor's. They were having trouble with noise ordinance issues and whatnot. So things had to change, but it was a great place to see a show, man. I used to love it there.
But Governor's, we used to play. It was like the Monday night band that kind of was the spawning of Funk Philharmonic. Actually started with, so that was the Jim Pin band on Mondays at Canterbury's. Before it was Jim Pin, it was the new Red Flannel Hash band, which were the Cummings brothers from Hicksville. Pat Cummings, who was then Jake Cummings, and his brother Mike, Rich Ebler on bass, myself, my brother Steven playing percussion, and Rob Baracco on keys. We used to play at Governor's. This is like
70s,
79.
Yeah, because it was 80. It was 81 that it changed solely to comedy.
Yeah. Because we used to do gigs there.
Yeah,
great. Those are great days.
I bet, man. Yeah, absolutely.
We used to play there regularly.
And what was the name of that? The Flannel Hash Band?
So that was the new Red Flannel Hash Band, because the original Red Flannel Hash Band, that was a band that was mostly upstate New York, a bunch of guys from Hicksville as well. Same thing. It was around Monticello area. We used to
It sounds
play
like an upstate
So,
band name.
yeah.
That's why I
Well,
asked. Yeah.
well, red flannel hash is it's a recipe for like hash with beets in it, and so and those guys, they found it like in a recipe book, and they named the band the Red Flannel Hash Band.
That's great.
That was Jim Kempster and John Strong and Pat Cummings again and Rob Baracco. Rob was from Westbury, but the rest of us were Hicksville guys.
Wow. And you supplied the hash band, and you supplied the beats.
Nice, another rim shot. That's good. That's good, Tony.
No, not really. Not really.
No, I like that. I mean, in all these years, I never thought about that.
Sure. I bet. And of course, I mentioned before you signed on here that your main gigs are the Funk Philharmonic, the original Blues Brothers band. I spent last night listening to the last shade of Blue Before Black. This morning, I was enjoying Everybody Get Down. And I'm curious because you play with everybody, and you mentioned the Tower of Power. Sorry, you mentioned Funk Philharmonic 40th anniversary, and you mentioned after Thanksgiving. So I want to be able to push that Tuesday, December 2nd, 89 North. Go
89 North.
Yep, that's the play, and that's a fantastic venue. Go see Funk Philharmonic that night, celebrating their 40th anniversary. Now, can you, Lee Finkelstein, can you name every band you've ever been in?
I could come close. You can ask the guys. I'm like the archivist. I can tell you dates.
Really? Yeah, I actually I'm pretty good with that with my comedy troupe. I'm pretty good like that.
I'm pretty good with dates, but it's like as far as bands, I can go back to the first band. I can tell you who was in it. I can tell you where we played.
So
how much? I think the gig paid $75, and the next week I'm doing a gig paying $75. No. No, I can. It's a pretty long history, but I can go back. I can name most of them that I played with, and then there were quite a few I would substitute in, or occasionally, or I did one or two, and it's like, no, thank you very much. We'll call you.
Yeah, sure, and it's, and that too. Then the list of all the substitutions and just one-offs. I mean, the resume is quite impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's been as I was at Saturday Night Live, baseball been very good. No, it's a blessing.
Absolutely.
That I've been this fortunate that I have that kind of resume, that I got to meet people like your brother, who I'll talk about later, who just an amazing, pretty incredible human. But he's your brother, you know that.
No, I was about to ask you who you're talking about.
He'll never admit that.
He's actually I say that to everybody. He's actually the nice one. And I don't want to forget. Do you actually have a gig tonight?
What's today? Yes, I do.
Yeah, Thursday at Bar A, the Harmony Project.
Yeah. We moved down to South Jersey a couple of years ago. We were in northern, whatever you call it. People have called this part of New Jersey Central, South, whatever. We were up closer to Newark for many years, my wife and I, and then we decided to come south, closer to the shore. So I'm down here near Asbury Park, where Belmar, the Jersey Shore, as they say, down the shore. The scene down here is incredible.
Oh, yeah?
It's just I don't know if it's like a lot of retired folks. People go out every night and hear live music, and everywhere you go, you see a lot of the same folks. So the Harmony Project tonight, it's Bar Anticipation, Bar A, which is, it's in Belmar, New Jersey. It's I don't know. It's one of those bars, like, that's been there, like probably from the 70s. I'm not even sure. but a long, long time. And the Harmony Project is, well, the guy who started it is a guy who I knew from 1980. And then when I moved down here, he was like, hey, you want to do some gigs with us? And these guys, the reason why they're called the Harmony Project is they sing like birds, and they do all like Crosby, Stills, Nash,
nice,
Beach Boys, Eagles, all the harmony, Simon and Garfunkel, and then some. But other stuff, Tom Petty, Allman Brothers, a little bit of everything. But
Chipmunks,
but mostly, yeah. It's mostly like vocal music, and it's just, I don't have to put earplugs in. It's not loud, and it's just it's a lot of fun, and that's usually like 2 Thursdays a month. It's about 20 minutes from home. I bring a tiny little drum set, and it works, and it's so that's tonight. It's a lot of fun.
That's cool. How'd you end up in Jersey? What made you flat leave us in Hicksville?
Well, I left Hicksville 1976.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Got out of high school, and I moved upstate to play in the Red Flannel Hash Band with my buddies from Hicksville. We knew each other. It was it was 1976. It was a scene up there. Sullivan Community College was the local school, and we were the band up there. A lot of Grateful Dead and hippie music, and and more country rock with those guys. And we had a steady gig at Lee's Inn in Hurleyville, no relation. But it was a great night, and it was a scene. And then we started, we would go down to New Paltz or up towards Binghamton, and like college circuit in the 70s, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
in all aspects, playing music, for living, whatever the living was, and that was, the band had a house together, and the van, and the whole, the van story. Oh, Frank, no. Anyway,
up to you.
Yeah, no. I'm not going there. Anyone that's watching that knows the van story, they know. Anyway, but it was the 70s. It was a beautiful thing. So that was so I moved out of Hicksville 76. I moved up there, then came back down to the island, went to school for a little bit at SUNY Old Westbury.
Oh, sure. I went there.
Which was a very interesting music department. Met a bunch of folks there. That was great. From there, well, so that's like 1980. And then in 1980. So then I was in Timberwolf, which was a Grateful Dead tribute band, but there's no such word as tribute band back then.
Yeah, right.
And then I went from Timberwolf to a band called Yasgur's Farm, which was Woodstock era rock and roll. And they were New Jersey based. So that's when I first moved to New Jersey, 1983. I moved down to Howell, Freehold.
I spent some time in Freehold. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Did a couple of years there. Then came back. Then I lived in Queens in a bunch of different places, College Point and Astoria. And then fortunately, I met my wife, who I met back then. We lived in Queens for many years, in Astoria. And then when it came time to, it was like, maybe we should buy a place. New York was just unaffordable at that time. So we started looking in Jersey. A lot of people I knew back then were moving to New Jersey. So, we checked it out. And for years I was like, I'm not moving to New Jersey. Can't move to New Jersey. But it worked out really well. And we lived in Maplewood, New Jersey, which is pretty incredible community. It's great. Essex County, crazy taxes, but like a suburb of Newark, and a beautiful, diverse, cool, liberal community out in New Jersey. And then so we were there almost 20 years.
Wow.
And then after 20, it was like, you know what? We don't need to be this close to the city anymore. Let's go down the shore. So we came down here, and that's the story with that.
It's a good story. What's the so growing up in Hicksville? Do you talking about your love of that music, Tower of Power and jazz and that type of music, and of course Steely Dan had one of their key members came from Hicksville, and that's I'm assuming you would agree
from his brother.
What? Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Denny Diaz.
Denny Diaz, yeah. Class of '67. With that in mind, you have people like Denny Diaz, and then all you guys, you and all the guys you're mentioning. Where did you find that? How did you discover that kind of music? Because it wasn't your typical stereotypical Chuck Berry rock and roll. This was a little different.
Well,
and you guys really gravitated towards it, and you made a living off of pretty much playing that style of music,
and
rock.
other things. I mean, I have to my musical influences growing up. I have to thank my parents for that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, because growing up in the late 50s, early 60s, first of all, my folks were incredible dancers.
Oh, wow.
They met and they danced the mambo in the 50s. So the mambo craze. So around the house, my dad used to play a lot of big band music because that was his thing. And he was a frustrated drummer. When he was very, very young, he made his own drum set out of inner tubes and tin cans.
Oh, that's
and on
funny.
the roof in East New York, he would come home. But that was short-lived. He stopped. But he always loved music. He used to cut out of school and go up to Harlem and see the big bands. So it was like jazz and Latin music growing up. And and Broadway shows and just very diverse, musical tastes, my parents. So that, I was always listening to that. And the thing that actually did it for me for jazz was, so 1969, Tommy the Who came out, Led Zeppelin 2, Blind Faith. And I was playing in a band already at that time called The Cosmic Oven with a couple of guys from Hicksville that my neighbors lived around the corner, Ken Shaw and Bruce Tompkins, two of my mentors, and I'm still best friends with them to this day. They're out in California. So we were playing that, that music of the Steppenwolf and Quicksilver and all that music. And my dad came home from work and he said, yeah, a friend of mine belongs to remember that you used to belong to the record club, Columbia Record Club, and they'd send you and of course his friend was into jazz, and they sent him this record and he didn't like it. And he said, here's, to my dad, take this home. Maybe your son will appreciate it, will like it. And I put it on, and it was a record. It was a Charles Mingus record called Tijuana Moods. And I put this record on, and I was just I heard Danny Richmond playing drums, and it was that's what I want to do.
Wow.
It moved me. I was still into John Bonham and Ginger Baker and all the rock and rolls, but I was, and I really got into what I thought really got into the jazz thing. So it opened me up to that. And of course, the Steely Dan was, their, harmonic sense was very jazzy, but they're a rock band. You know what I mean? It's rock and roll.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it's just, it's a little different, but yes.
Right. Yeah. Sensibilities. So that was major influence. But I loved the Allman Brothers and the Dead, pretty much everything. If it was good music, I liked it.
Sure. And then you mentioned Ginger Baker, same thing. I mean, that guy, one of the best rock drummers in my opinion, but his influences were, various African drummers and African music.
African, and the other thing with any of those drummers, Ringo and Charlie Watts and the 60s drummers, Mitch Mitchell from Hendrix.
Yep.
They didn't have rock and roll guys to listen to. They were weaned. They listened to jazz guys.
Yeah, Charlie Watts used to put out jazz albums. Yeah.
Right. So those guys, their influence were jazz drummers, and jazz music because like rhythm and blues kind of started maybe then,
Right.
So that was, but there wasn't really rock and roll. So they kind of invented a thing out of jazz, out of blues, and that's we can go back to Dixieland, and ragtime and see where that's where it all
sure.
It all started.
You ever see the Ginger Baker documentary? That guy is nuts, man. He was nuts. He was.
Well, he was. He was a known curmudgeon. He was an issue. Clapton had issues with him.
Yeah.
There's lots of stories. So I got to tell you this story. So my brother Steven Steven is also a drummer, and my brother Eric is also a drummer. Ginger Baker, this is, obviously before he died. It's 10, 12 years ago, whenever it was. He's playing with his group at the Iridium in New York City.
Nice.
I called my brother up and I said, I know someone that can guarantee us good seats. We have to buy tickets, but we'll get a good table. Let's go see Ginger Baker. And it was like an $85 ticket. And we were like, wow, $85. And I was like, we were talking each other into it, out of it. And then we said, no, like it's Ginger Baker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not something that comes up that often. She's like, screw it, let's pay it.
See Ginger Baker.
Yeah.
This was after the movie. So, we knew, and everyone knew his reputation.
Yeah.
So we bought the tickets. We go to the Iridium. We got the great seat, like up on the little elevated level.
Yep.
Perfect. And the stage is set. And the rest of the band comes out and they're assembling on stage. And the Iridium, the announcement says, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a New York welcome to, the one and only Ginger Baker. And the crowd is, Ginger, we love you. It's New York, like rowdy. They're screaming. And he's got his drum set is in the far right corner and the entrance is on the left side of the stage.
Right.
And he's got his cane and he's making his way across the stage and the people are still, and he, makes his way. And he finally sits down at the kit and the crowd kind of dies down and someone says, Ginger Baker. And he goes, shut the fuck up. Right. And it was just like the whole audience was just like, and I turned to my brother. I go, that was worth the $85 right there.
That's it.
Absolutely right.
Played, and it was really cool to see Ginger Baker. Like, well, I even have some pictures of it. I was like, it was Ginger. But I remember at the table was like a little placard with his merch for sale. Like, if you wanted a drumhead signed, it was $100.
Wow.
If you wanted the placard signed, it was, he was trying to make some money.
Yeah.
Understand? And the show was interesting. He had a guy playing like four conga drums. Pee Wee Ellis was playing tenor sax and an upright bass player, and it was very like Afro-con kind of jazz.
Right.
A lot of 6/8, Ginger Baker. But that was a thrill, just seeing Ginger, because I used to live and breathe those records, sit with him every day and work out all the Ginger Baker stuff, because it was, when overplaying was acceptable.
Yeah, right. And that's pretty much what he did.
It was well, think about it. It was mandatory back then. Keith Moon, Mitch Mitchell, Ginger Baker, those guys, if they went to a gig today and played the way they played, it'd be like, we'll call you.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We do the same with comedy. We're here in Governors. We talk about that, certain comedians that would not be accepted today, like Don Rickles, but it is the same in that regard. Right. Ginger Baker would be, people would be looking at him funny. Keith Moon would be, he'd be a custodian somewhere. He would not make it today
right. It's great. It's different. It's so different now.
Absolutely. Now, and as a drummer, when you hear stuff like that, or again, Steely Dan or anything like that, is that part of the attraction too? Because it's, from a musician standpoint, it's a little harder to play that stuff. A little more, not harder, but a little more challenging to play that stuff than, say, a straight Chuck Berry type rock and roll. Is that part of the allure to it?
Yes, definitely. That's the thing with Steely Dan, once they started really using studio musicians,
Yeah.
was later on, Pretzel Logic was Jim Gordon playing drums on the, just master. Jeff Becerra on the next record, and then it was like
Steve
Purdy
Gadd and stuff. Yeah,
and Gadd and all the and all the session cats. So the tracks, the musicians they were using were like some of the best on the planet. Anthony Jackson, I mean, rest in peace. He just passed. Just some of the greatest performances. So to try and emulate that stuff, you grow as a musician. You'd learn from it because it was really heavy. Really contrived, thought out, written out. Steely Dan. That's why some people don't like him, because it's too good almost.
Yeah, right. Asia is just one of the song. It just one of my favorite songs of all time. I think it would be on my top 5 if I had to make a top 5.
When that came out, it was it was life changing for everyone.
Absolutely.
And that became the record when you went to the stereo, when you went to Crazy Eddie, or when you went to buy a stereo, they used Asia as the demo, because it was so perfectly mixed. The sounds were like, and then Gaucho became the record,
right?
And then A New Frontier, the Fagan record, because they were just perfect.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Some people don't care for that perfection. It's too pristine, too clean.
Well, there's something wrong with those people.
Donald Fagan, kitchen clean.
How did you? I'm a big Steve Cropper, Booker T fan. I love that stuff. In fact, I just went down to Memphis in August. And
did you go to the museum?
Of course, I went to the museum and took a ton of pictures. They had the bass, the guitar, the drums, and the organ that was used to record Green Onions. And
I have pictures of those. But so now I have to tell you the full story, full circle story with Steve Cropper. I've been the very first concert I went to was Steppenwolf.
Oh wow!
In 1971.
Okay.
It was like it was in Elmont, the Long Island Arena. I think the Ducks played there. It was, it's long gone. Elmont, New York. Anyway, we went 1971. I was, 13, whatever. The opening band for Steppenwolf that night was Booker T and the MGs.
Nice.
Literally, the first concert I ever went to was Steve Cropper.
Right.
And now, let's bounce ahead 30 years. I'm sitting on the bus, getting ready to go to a concert with Steve Cropper. You can't write this stuff.
Yep.
It's like
exactly
full circle. Another thing with the Blues Brothers, the other guitar player in the Blues Brothers has been the great John Tropez, who not as much of a household name as Steve Cropper,
right?
But if you went through your record collection from the 70s, John's on half the stuff that you listen to. Paul Simon and Aretha Franklin. And,
oh wow!
I mean, I can go on, and that was also a very early concert. I happened to see John play with Umir Diodato. Diodato did a version of 2001, like a funky version, if you remember it.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So John Tropez played it became one of the most famous guitar solos, and it kind of helped put John on the map.
Wow.
So I saw John Tropez. That was maybe a year later, in 72 or something. So here I am. I'm like sitting on the bus with like two guys that I went to see in concert when I was a lad, and now I'm playing with them, and it's just and for years, being on the bandstand, on the Blues Brothers bandstand, they'd turn around and we'd be grooving together, and I'd look at myself like, wait a minute, what the hell am I doing here? Like, oh my God, pinch myself.
Well, how did you get that gig?
Okay, that's another story. Well, it's all stories. So this is actually very cool. Um, the bass player at the time in the Blues Brothers was a buddy of mine, Eric Udell, who passed away unexpectedly. Rest in peace. But very sad. But Eric and I had been playing blues gigs, funk gigs, jazz gigs, every kind of gigs all around New York for years. And we had a thing. We really connected. And he got the Blues Brothers gig after Duck Dunn left.
Right.
And he kept saying to me, Leah, man, you know, I'd love to get you on this gig. It would be great. You would kill it. You'd sound great. We'd play great together. You'd be perfect for this gig. You know, so like, and back then it was like, you know, so, you know, you submit a cassette tape and a resume, and it so wasn't about that with the Blues Brothers. It's kind of a little like a, you know, a club, you know, a clique that you get. It wasn't about, oh, here's my resume and here's my, you know, audio. So nothing really ever came of that, but he would try. And then one afternoon, Eric calls me and he said, listen, the Blues Brothers, they just booked a last minute gig and the regular singer can't make it. So we need to rehearse with this substitute singer. And Danny Gottlieb was playing drums with them at the time, the great Danny Gottlieb. And Danny was out of town. So Eric said, learn these tunes, come play the rehearsal. It'll be like an audition. So I did my homework because I wanted to, you know, make an impression. And I went and played the rehearsal. And after the first tune, you know, Lou Marini says, who are you, man? How come I don't know you? You know, you want to do some gigs? I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, of course.
You know, whatever, you know, I'd love to. And then it wasn't until like a year and a half later, something came up and they asked me about splitting a tour with Danny. And at that time, the great Keith Carlock was also playing. He had been playing the gig. So it was Danny and Keith were kind of sharing the duties at that time. And then I came in the picture and I was going to split I think that's when Keith first got Steely Dan, or he was with Sting, or, I mean, it's Keith Carlock.
Right.
Never, if you've seen Keith, you know, just, so, you know, and talk about big shoes to fill, you know, Steve Jordan, who did, you know, the first tour, and Keith Carlock and Danny Gottlieb. So it ended up, Danny wasn't going to split the tour because of his schedule, and they gave me the full. So I went out 6 weeks with them in 2004. That was
wow,
and it was amazing, and that, you know, and never looked back, and it's been doing it ever since. So it's amazing.
Really enjoyed the album, the Last Shade of Blue Before Black. And
thankfully, that's Eric Udell is on that record. We got to record with him, and then he, you know, before it was released, he passed away. But
right.
It's so you can really hear the thing that Eric and I had, and just Eric's presence.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's a great album.
First
time I heard it, and I'm a big fan. Like I said, I'm a big fan of that stuff. I love Steve Cropper. I'm actually a big Paul Schaefer fan, so that was a nice surprise to hear that he was on it too. I have a lot of his music, and I'm excited because they're making a documentary about him. So
Paul Schaefer.
Yeah, because I mean that guy. That guy has literally played with everybody. I don't think you can name anybody he hasn't played with.
No, he's played with everyone, deservedly so.
What a story that must
be. You know, he's an encyclopedia of the music of rock and roll. Mm-hmm. I've done gigs with him. I've played with him. I've sat in other times where he'll call a tune, and you're playing the tune, and if you play the wrong fill in the going to the chorus, he'll correct you.
Wow.
He knows, like, he's an encyclopedia. It's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing.
I mean, what an incredible talent.
Oh, and unbelievable.
and
Yeah.
a beautiful cat, man. No, he's a sweetie.
All right, so we're talking about the Blues Brothers. We're hanging out here with Lee Finkelstein. I am actually going to play a clip of the original Blues Brothers band playing Flip, Flop, and Fly. I'm going to play that. Before I put it on, I just want to let you guys know that since we're on Zoom, if you guys start talking, it will come through and everybody will hear it. So basically, just shut up. Yeah.
So I got to show. Okay, so I have to listen to this now.
I don't. I'll be honest. I'm not even sure if you'll hear it on your end, but the viewing audience, we're live right now. The viewing audience will hear it. So we're going to play the original Blues Brothers Flip, Flop, and Fly, a great classic tune. When we come back, we'll talk more with Lee, and we'll read some of your comments as well. All right, so we'll be right back.
I'm going to take a little break as well.
Yes, you can go pee. Yes. All right. Here we go. We'll be right back. The original Blues Brothers band with the classic flip, flop, and fly with Lee Finkelstein on drums, ladies and gentlemen. Nice job.
Thanks. Where was the I'm wondering which video was that. The cutting room?
I do believe that is the cutting room.
Oh, okay.
One of my favorite venues, by the way. I love that place.
Yeah.
Great sound there too.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the cutting room.
Exactly right. And we're getting some great comments. Ann, who's watching from California, she says, "Now that's music." She says, "Great video, loving it." She also said Frank is a great musician. Frank was not in that video. Just let you know. John Rusiello from Florida. John Rusiello's from Florida. He says, "Now that's music. He can't get any better than this." So there you go. Very nice.
That's nice. That's nice.
Andrew Fremder from here on Long Island. He says, "That was great. Clap, clap, clap." He wrote. Very nice.
Thanks for playing that, Tony.
Oh, of course. And I have some Tower of Power stuff to play as well as we move on here. Let me ask. I'm very curious, especially as we're getting up in age, like and if this is getting maybe too personal or something, tell me, we can move away from it. But
okay.
Is it the life of a musician? And again, same with comedy here. There's no, you're basically self-employed. You're a hired gun. And the money can be great. A lot of times it's not great. As we're getting older here, is it harder to hustle and try to get the gigs? And do you start to worry about where some money is going to come from as we're getting older? I mean, you have some great steady gigs, so I hope you're staying afloat. But I'm just curious. I see a lot of guys as they get older. A lot of them start to have some difficulties.
Yeah. No. Thankfully, my phone still rings.
Nice.
I'm not going to say that I turn down more than you can only do one gig a night.
Right.
But thankfully it's I'm still right now I'm as busy as I want to be.
Okay, good. That's fantastic.
Playing music that I want to play. For years I did event gigs, weddings and parties and bar mitzvahs, and that was pretty lucrative back in the day when there used to be lots of those gigs.
Yeah.
So that was you did that in addition to everything else. So it was. So, but there comes a time also, you're talking about age. And for me, the joke, how many times have I heard it where, at the end of the night, someone says to me, "Don't you wish you took up the piccolo or the harmonica?" As I'm packing and schlepping and, my fourth trip out to the car. And I pick and choose some of those now because it's like, a lot of venues now have house drum sets, which is a saving grace. And other times it's like, well, I guess I got to schlep. I got to bring my stuff. I like to get paid for that. You know what I mean? That's the work. I'll sit and play behind the drums all night. That's not work. Yeah.
Right.
But it's, so, maybe a little bit less now, just physically also. Some of the like weddings I used to do, it was physically demanding because they keep you on the bandstand way longer than like legally allowed, health watch. Just sitting, I gotta, I'm sitting for so long. And pounding out top 40 music or other music for 2 hours straight. If you're 30, you can do that. At 60, it becomes work.
And it's interesting you say that because I'm thinking now, of certain drummers, and I can recall seeing Don Henley where he sits on almost, it's like a computer chair, and there's something that he can lean his back on while he plays. And then I think of Phil Collins, who can barely walk, let alone stand anymore. And he says it's because he sat on a very small stool when he played. And that guy was a beast behind the drum kit.
I mean, he was so great. He was such
nobody like him, in my opinion.
Both those guys are great drummers.
Yeah.
And the thing you think about, and this is, when I used to teach a bunch. and just very important to have the proper posture and correct. So you're not, it's so the position that we're sitting in and abusing and overusing our limbs.
Yeah.
I'm sitting like this for 50 years. It's not right. It's not natural.
Yeah.
So you have to do stuff to, stretch and stay in shape and, try and stay in shape. And it just becomes, it's you got to take care of yourself and you got to sit right. You got to have a good throne and a good, seat to sit on. Yeah.
I have a good throne, and it has the, yeah.
Like that. You're gonna go there. I knew you were. How did I know you're gonna go there?
It has a good bidet too, which I love, by the way.
Right. Day by day. No.
That was good. See,
don't get me started.
So John from Florida is asking. All right. So actually, before I get to John's question.
Wow, questions.
Yeah, well, yeah, we read comments, we get viewer questions, but before I get to it, somebody by the name of I don't even know if I'm reading it right. Nei, Nei, and then the letter B, and he or she wrote outstanding. I don't know if you know who that is. I don't know if it's somebody that follows you or
NEI,
and then the letter B. All right, just says nay B and then it just says outstanding. So I just okay,
not ringing a bell.
All right, we have a viewer named Andrew Fremder. He's here on Long Island, and he says Phil Collins predicted his future because he wrote the song "I Can't Dance." That's the IQ level of the people who
we're gonna go there?
hang on this show. Yeah, yeah, we'll definitely go there. We've gone to worse places, but John from Florida is asking. And this is probably a tough question, but who, in your opinion, is the best drummer of all time? That's probably impossible to answer, I would think.
It really is because, in what style, what genre, what era, what, music is so different and so diverse. The guy can be the greatest jazz drummer, but couldn't play with a rock band and vice versa.
Right.
So it's, it's kind of a, I have my, everyone says who, I have like a top 5 or top 10 of guys that, either it was like major influence or they were just outstanding musicians.
Right. Sure.
But yeah, there's no real like who is the greatest. Look, there's people that say, "Oh, Ringo, come on," but Ringo. And technically he was not anywhere near a lot of drummers.
Right.
But if you think about it, he probably influenced more drummers than anyone ever.
Right. Which is why a lot of people, when they're naming their favorites, they'll go back to the beginning, the guys who did certain things first, your Buddy Riches and your Ringos. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I go back to the jazz guys because that's what the rock guys listen to.
Right.
So it's like that, and then like every era, there's the guys who, then there's like the game changers, Jack DeJohnette, who we just lost. He was a game changer. He took all the, Max Roach and Art Blakey and all the guys that came before him, Tony Williams and Kenny Clark, and I could go on and on and on. He took all those guys and put them all together, and Elvin and put them all together, and then there's Jack DeJohnette, and he took it. He was a game changer.
Yeah.
There's guys that kind of changed the instrument. There's those guys, but they couldn't. You wouldn't see Elvin Jones playing with AC/DC. It's just apples and oranges.
Right.
So
yeah. But that's what I love about talking to guys like you, because you'll bring out these names that that the guys who they're almost forgotten. A lot of the guys who just don't get enough credit. The session guys, the side guys. The people whose names should be out there more. Like your I forget. I'm already blanking on names, but like the guy that he was married to Nicolette Larson. He played with everybody. James Taylor. He plays with
Russ Kunkel.
Russ Kunkel. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Like those guys, you know.
Yeah, you took those guys. You know, they created. You know, it was a generation of sound. That was the soundtrack of our. You know, those session guys. That's Jim Gordon. Do you know who Jim? You know who Jim Gordon was?
Of course. He ended up going. He went a little psycho.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's it's another story. But you know, he's on Layla.
Right.
He's on Mad Dogs and Englishmen.
Right.
But he was like, if you go to his Wikipedia page, you scroll for 10 minutes.
Right. That resume is fantastic.
He's on that record. He's on that, and there's so many guys like that they're not household names.
Right.
But they've influenced generations.
Yeah. Absolutely right.
You know, you play that fill. That's kind of the fill that Gad played on this tune, or you know, that kind of thing.
Right. Exactly.
Some became household names, but there's so many. And then there's guys that weren't even recorded that you hear down the street at the local bar or wherever that, you know, are just as good as anyone. And some people are really lucky and fortunate that they become famous and they have careers. But you know, some of the greatest players, you know, we may not even know
of. that was, I'll tell you, that was the beauty of going to Memphis, man. That was my first time there, and just walking up and down Beale Street and seeing these guys. You know, you walk up and down. Every bar on Beale Street has a band. You know, and they're playing, and they pump speakers out into the street, and you can just walk up and down and just enjoy this fantastic music by these top-notch players that you never seen before, never see again. But unbelievable, man!
It's the real deal.
Yeah, that was my version of heaven, man. I just need a Met game playing in the background and maybe some strippers, and I'm a happy guy, man. That was
perfect. Right.
Oh, it was something. And speaking of which, I've been talking to some people about it on the show. I've brought it up a few times, but speaking of great drummers, I'm not a huge Rush fan. I know a lot of the music. I love a lot of the music, but I don't have a lot of their albums and stuff. But I am thrilled that they're coming back with that female drummer, Anika Niles. And I'm not even sure if I'm saying her name right, but
yeah.
Wow, is she fantastic? And I think it's great they're coming back. Yeah.
No, that's a beautiful thing. You know, Neil Peart was one of those guys. Peart was one of those guys.
Right.
He was a game changer. Influenced a whole generation of drummers. You know, what he did on the instrument was game changing.
Right.
Yeah, without a doubt. And to fill his shoes, you know, to sit in that chair. I mean, that's like, you know, one of the biggest chairs ever.
Oh, absolutely right.
But she's
going to nail it.
She played with Jeff Beck.
Right.
And Jeff wouldn't hire a slouch.
Right.
No, she's great. That's gonna be,
exactly. Talk about great side people. I mean, Beck there's a list of all the people that played with Beck that are just amazing players, man. Going back to the 60s when he started with, you know, his first singer was Rod Stewart, for crying out loud.
Right. And Max Middleton and Cozy Powell and, you know.
Yep. Vinnie Colaiuta.
Right.
Yeah.
No, Jeff was and Jeff, you know, there's a guy that he continued to experiment and grow and just, it was never the same.
Right.
And he was always trying something different. He was so unique. And just, did you see the documentary, his documentary?
I did. I didn't like it.
You know, he's working on big block Chevys with his hands.
Right.
And then he's playing guitar with no pick. It's like, you know, like another freak of nature. Just you know, that you come across those occasionally that those people that just they game change. They take it to another level.
I wasn't thrilled with that documentary. Like I just felt it kind of like sped through his history. That there wasn't a lot of footage shown. They didn't talk to a lot of the musicians that played with him. I was a little disappointed in that one. But I hear you. You know, like you said, you know, doing all these things, and that was cool, showing him at his house and in his garage and stuff. But what an amazing talent until he passed. He was, like you said, continuously growing.
I saw him back in the day opened for Mahavishnu Orchestra
Oh,
with
wow.
Bernard Purdy playing drums.
Yep.
There's another, genius.
Absolutely.
And this last tour that he did, they were playing up here down here at the Count Basie Theater, and then I saw Johnny Depp was on the bill, and I was like, nah, I'm not. I don't want to see Johnny Depp. I'm not going to go. And then a week later, boom, it's like, and I was kicking myself. But that's you can't do everything.
And it's funny you say that, because same thing for me. I had gotten tickets for Jones Beach. This is probably maybe, I don't know, almost 10 years ago, I guess. Jeff Beck, Paul Rogers, and Ann Wilson from Heart.
Right.
And I'm thinking, what a show that's going to be. So I had tickets, and I don't remember, I don't even remember what the reason was, but something came up like last minute where I was actually in the car to go to the show, and then something came up, and I ended up not being able to go. And so I never saw Beck. Paul Rogers I've only seen once, and now it looks like he's pretty much done. And that was Yep. Now I'm punching myself for missing Jeff Beck. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's why go see him now.
Right.
I mean, they're all sadly they're all leaving us.
Yeah, absolutely.
When it gets out alive.
That's a weird thing too, and I talk about that often on the show here. It's as we're getting older, the people that we looked up to, whether it's a musician, an actor, or even a relative. It's weird to see them getting older. It's
part of life.
Yeah, well, true, absolutely right.
Can't avoid it.
All right. So one thing we have 15 minutes. You're good on time. We have 15 minutes left.
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool.
Oh, that was it. Wow.
Yeah.
Because I definitely want to talk about. I wanted to. Well, I know you talked about the Funk Philharmonic. So I just want to, again, please come out and dance. Tuesday,
December 2nd. Yep.
At 89 North.
If you're on Long Island, you haven't been to 89 North yet, well, get over there. It's a fantastic place. It's not too big, not too small. It's a great venue. The sound there is good. They get great bands, obviously. Come.
That's the reason why we're there's people like Patchogue. Oh my God, it's so far.
No, it's not.
That room for that band, it's difficult to find a room. It's 12 pieces, and it's horns and percussion and singers. It's difficult to find a room where we're really comfortable, that we can fit on stage,
sure,
and have great sound on stage for us at the time. That's Kevin Sheehan, runs that in the warehouse. He is just. I told Kevin he should open up a school for club owners, because this is how you treat musicians, and this is how you run a club. And he's amazing. He's just been. What a great guy. So when we're doing, when it came time to book a gig for Funks, we used to call it Funksgiving, because we always used to do it around the holiday. But we only played 89 North once, and the guys were like, we just loved that room, the sound man, Brandon, the sound guy. It was a perfect fit. And we said, you know what? We're 40 years old. We should be comfortable at this point, not at the biggest club or the best club or the closest club.
Right.
We need to be comfortable. So it was like, let's make it comfortable for us. And I'm sure we'll have a good night. I'm hoping.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 89 North, Tuesday, December 2nd.
Thank you.
Of course. And if you're in Jersey tonight, go to the Bar A and check out the Harmony Project.
That's fun, and it's like 6:30 to 9:30.
Nice and early.
I'm home at 10:15.
That's beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing.
Because it is a school night after all.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
All right. So with a few minutes left, I'm gonna just hit you with some quick questions. Oh, you know what? Before I even do that, there was one thing I wanted to ask you: the Cosby Show.
It's just like of course, like they've like the one of some of the best things on my resume and artists that I got to play with on my resume were all on the Cosby Show, and everyone's like, "Oh, Bill Cosby," it's unfortunately, he shit the bed. Oops, sorry.
No, that's fine. You can curse on here.
It's fine. Yeah, that just went. So the Cosby Show, that was it was an incredible experience. And the way that happened,
But let me cut you off for a second. Are we talking about
Yeah.
the theme song? We're talking about like all the music on the show, like in between, like coming back from commercials and stuff?
I did a lot of the incidental music.
Wow.
And come back from commercial, and like there's a scene change or a little musical, deedly dee pop pop whatever, a little funky groove or a little and then a theme song. So it was a combination of, and those sessions, that's where like my resume, I don't even like list, it was like you would walk in, we'd record every week for that show. And you'd come into the studio that day and it was like, oh, wow, look who's here. Ray Charles, Nancy Wilson. But then session players that, I was looking up to. And all of a sudden you're like recording with these guys.
Wow.
It was incidental, but I'm still in the, in the room recording with them.
Of course.
Unbelievable opportunity. And that, that just, that came about of a band that used to play at the brokerage. Eclipse was the band, and the manager got a audio tape, a cassette tape of us to the musical director of the Cosby Show, and he heard, wow, these guys are great players, and we started recording music for the show. So that was, that was wonderful. And then I did a couple of the spin-off things, A Different World.
Yeah.
We did music for, so that was the most popular television show.
Oh yeah, man!
On the planet for a while. So it was nice to turn that on and go, oh yeah, that's
Until Bill asked you to go out for a drink, and then you. You get residuals for that, or like the actors do, or no?
Yeah, you see where I'm living? No. I do get some.
Oh, okay, all right.
Some reuse. Yeah, it's minimal, but actually, it's been a while. But I got to tell you this: I used to get, I'd get a check a couple of times a year. People would buy the video or reuse fees if it was played, and you'd get a check for this, and it was mostly like people buying video sets, and it was, a couple of bucks. I don't want to even say how much.
Yeah, of course.
But it was a couple bucks.
And every little bit helps, right?
After he was found guilty,
yeah,
the check I got was like triple what it usually was, because I think people just went and they bought the videos because they said, who knows if you'll be able to get these again.
Right, you might not see it again.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Wow.
It was. I mean, literally 3 times the amount. I was like, oh my God.
Now, what about this year when what's his name passed away? The son.
Oh, that's.
Did you start getting big checks from that too?
No.
Oh, okay. Not to be cold about it. I'm just
unless they lost my address. No.
Wow. Okay. All right. So one thing that I wanted to hear, before we run out of time, I always, with a lot of guests, I look at our Facebook pages and I look at mutual friends. And so I'm just going to throw some names at you. You can say anything you want, good, bad, or you don't have to say anything at all, whatever you want. So I'm just going to throw some names at you and see. You can talk about whatever you want. But actually, what I'm going to do before I even get into it, I'm going to throw a name at you who I don't know if is on Facebook or not. But there's a guy I used to work with who I've not seen in probably 20 years. I have no idea what's became of this guy, but he was a massive Funk Philharmonic fan. And I've never forgotten that for whatever reason. So I'm going to throw his name at you, see by chance if you know him. Do you know a guy named Rich Hickey?
Rich Hickey.
Yeah. He loved you guys. He used to, in the office, when I worked with him, he used to actually play, like he had, audience, like, recordings of you guys. He used to sit there and play them.
I know Dan Hickey. I know Jim Hickey. Rich Hickey is not,
All right, never mind.
Yeah, it's not
all right.
ringing a bell.
All right, well, so names that I found on Facebook, mutual friends. First name I'm going to throw at you is Barbara Klein.
Yes, I know Barbara from the 80s.
She's wonderful.
She still probably was a great singer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, she was in. We did some gigs back in the day, but she was in a band with some of the guys that I played with. So I know Barbara, like, probably from, I'm going to say early '80s. Yeah,
because she's on the business end of things these days. So I had no idea that she was a singer.
But Barbara sang. Yeah.
Wow. All right, I'll have to ask her to sing for me next time I see her.
Yeah. Say hello.
I will. Barbara Mallow Diaz.
Okay, that's Denny's wife.
Who I
went to high school with.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah, Barbara's great.
I'll tell you a quick funny story. This is, again, probably 10, 15 years ago. She posted on Facebook. She was looking for a recording of the, who was the drummer of Toto? Which Porcaro brother was that? Jeff, thank you. They had after he passed, they had a tribute concert for him. And she was looking for a recording of it because Denny played on it.
Right.
And not only did I have a recording, but it was soundboard. It's a bootleg, but it's soundboard recording. So I sent it to her, and we've been friends ever since. And she sent me a nice picture of Denny where he wrote on it, thanking me for the recording.
I think I'm going to need that.
Did you play on it?
No.
Oh, okay, but I'll get it to you. I'd be happy to do that. Yeah.
Anything Jeff Porcaro.
Oh, okay. Oh, what a concert too! I mean, Toto played and Don Henley was there. Michael McDonald.
I think I heard some of that when it happened.
Yeah. George Harrison played at the end, and
right.
And even Eddie Van Halen showed up. And Barbara was telling me Eddie Van Halen was so drunk he was sick, puking on the wings of the stage in between songs. Here's a name. This gentleman was on the show earlier this week. He's actually very upset that he wasn't here today to say hi to you. David Clark.
Dave Clark. Yeah. There's another mega talent.
Oh.
What a super talent.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
I met Dave. He was, he's a little younger than I. And then found out, he grew up in Levittown, like, around the corner. Because I grew up on the border of Levittown, like one block from Levittown.
Oh, okay. So you went to Fork Lane?
Yeah, like behind Holy Trinity.
Mm-hmm. Right? That's where I am now. I've lived in 4 different places in Hicksville, and that's where I am now. Over that way, yeah.
Oh, whatever. Don't have to tell what street you live on. Whatever. Yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I'm not Lee Finkelstein. Nobody cares where I live.
So Dave Clark, I remember meeting him. He was like this young, and he came on a club date, wedding or something. It was like, who is this kid?
Yeah.
I love Dave.
Yeah, and that's such a great dude.
Before we continue, I got to say how I met your brother.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
That guy in the picture there who's like, Frank, you're so talkative today. I'm thinking the line from Goodfellas. What? I'm like, you're always talking. What was he going to say? 2-time me? Scorsese's mom there.
Yeah.
Yeah, his hoof, his paw, his thing. No,
look at this painting.
Frank, but I met Frank. I didn't know of Frank from Hicksville, like this talented guy, singer, songwriter extraordinaire, and I was doing a thing called Chick Singer Night at the Bitter End. It was we did it once a month on Tuesdays, and I don't know how Frank got wind of it, but he started coming in every month with like all these women artists. He would, he was kind of accompanying them and backing them up. And I'm like, who is he? He was like this talent finder and plus a talent himself. And then we do some of his songs, or he was co-writing, and it was just, and then of course, oh, you're from Hicksville. I'm from Hicksville. It was just a beautiful thing, and I cherish those moments because we had some really, really special nights. And I know you agree, Frank.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to tell him about the music I wrote up for you guys to play.
Your charts.
Yeah.
I think it's called the chart.
Yeah, well, my attempt at a chart.
Right. Frank's version of charts. Yeah.
Right.
I've seen that with Phil Collins because he doesn't read music, and he used the Earth, Wind, and Fire horns in his, when he, in his early solo albums. Yeah. And I saw some special where they actually showed his charts for them to, to learn their parts.
Right.
All these weird dots and lines that made no sense to the naked eye unless you knew what it meant to him. Then you're able to figure it out. But it was just a big mess.
Unless you write things out legitimately the way music is supposed to be written.
Right.
Everyone has their own little cryptic, cues, and this means that, and that's
right.
I mean, like what I do is like first thing I do is like, I get a song from, say, Frank. It's an original tune, and I think about it. I go, okay, what is this? What song does this remind me of? Oh, this sounds like in the Mystic and Morrison. So that's the first thing I write on the top, in quotes, Into the Mystic feel. You know what I mean? So
right.
Now I know the feel. You know what I mean? And then you kind of take it from there. But I just want to acknowledge Frank, and it's a beautiful thing.
Well, yeah, and he's Frank. You mentioned Paul Schaefer before about the encyclopedia. It's the same thing with him. I mean, he plays 1,800 instruments and knows exactly how songs go. It's quite freaky. So, all right, another name I have because we got to get out of here. Eric Haft.
That's the comedian.
Yeah, but he's also a great drummer.
Well, I mean, I don't have to tell you how many comedians are drummers and vice versa.
Yes.
I could tell a joke, but so it's all about timing.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
It's all in the timing. No. And I met Eric. Yeah, I met Eric through Ron Fox, a trumpet player in the Funk Philharmonic, and Eric comes to gigs and we've chatted. Yeah.
Great dude. Nice. Yeah. Eric's one of my favorites around here. All right. Do you have a joke? You want to tell a joke?
Well, I mean, I have to tell like drummer jokes, right? So here we go. No, well, how you can tell when your band is about to break up?
How?
When the drummer says, "We could do some of my originals."
Nice.
That's great.
And one of my all-time favorites. It's deepest, darkest Africa. There's two tribes. They're neighboring tribes, and and they communicate via drums as they do in Africa. And all of a sudden, the one tribe, they hear the drums coming from the neighboring tribe, and they're like, "Those are war drums. They're getting ready to attack us. We better be prepared." So he gets his troops ready, and then they all get ready. And they have their weapons, and they start marching across through the jungle towards the other tribe, and the drums are still going. And they get to the border where the other tribe is, and the other tribe leader comes over. He goes, "What's this? What are you doing here?" He said, "Well, I heard the war drums. Aren't you coming to attack us?" And the other tribe leader says, "Oh, sorry, it's not our regular drummer."
That's great.
Very nice. Hey, this Tuesday, not this Tuesday, the following Tuesday, December 2nd, head on out to 89 North. Go enjoy the Funk Philharmonic 40th Funkin' Years. It's going to be a great show. If you're down in Jersey tonight, check out the Harmony Project. Lee Finkelstein, is there anything you want to promote that I didn't mention? Do you want to mention your socials or websites, anything, and then we'll get out of here.
Saturday night, this Saturday, with the Friends of the Brothers, with Dave Diamond, another great drummer.
Dave Diamond's been in here. He's great.
Yeah, it's an Allman Brothers thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing up at the Infinity Hall in Hartford, Funk Philharmonic, and what else? Other gigs. My website is nothing. It's I need to do something with it, and that's Jeff Conzi. If you're watching, Jeff's another drummer. He's in Australia. He hosts my website, and I've been trying to get a hold of him to update it because it's been a while. I don't know. Do you know Jeff, Frank?
I don't think so.
Jeff's a great drummer. He's in Down Under.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Happy, healthy Thanksgiving and holidays to everyone. And Tony, thanks, man. This was great.
Cool.
It really because I said to Frank, do I have to be there like for an hour and a half? And he's like, and it went like this. It was great.
I will pat myself on the back a little bit. I get people telling me, "Oh, I'll come on for 20 minutes," and then 90 minutes later, we're still going.
Right. It's a beautiful thing.
We had Bill Champlin from Chicago, Sons of Champlin.
Oh.
I couldn't believe he actually said yes to do the show. But same thing. He said, yeah, 20 minutes. We did the show. Fantastic. I love that guy. I couldn't shut him up, and I had to stop him after 90 minutes. I said, Bill, I'm sorry, but we have to go. Like, I think he would have kept going for at least another hour. But yeah, we do. It does go fast. We have a lot of fun, and we make sure our guests are comfortable and happy. So, and we end up having a good time. And this was great. I'm glad you finally agreed to get here. And
the check is in the mail, right?
Yes, along with the Cosby checks. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and then I woke up.
Lee Finkelstein, this was a lot of fun. Let's do it again sometime.
Pleasure, Tony. Frank.
Thank you, sir. Love you.
All right.
Love you guys.
All right. Lee Finkelstein. There we go. That was great. All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Before we go, let me just quickly go over the what's going on here. So we got Sports Bash with Peter Schwartz coming up at 1 o'clock, which is why I got to get out of here. Peter Schwartz, Sports Bash, 1 o'clock. Primal Scream and Nick Greystone tonight at 8. He's got somebody from the original Toxic Avenger on. So forgive me for not. Mark Togel. It just came to me. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., Matt Napo and Coffee with the Dog. I'll be here tomorrow with Rosie Fiumara. At 11 o'clock, of course, and then Don Sill tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with Donversations. That's right here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. And, of course, don't forget the clubs, Governor's, the main club here in Levittown, the Giggle Room here in Levittown, the Brokerage in Belmore, and McGuire's out east. Some of the names you'll see on the Governor's stage this weekend: John DeResta, Billy Geyer, Karen Feehan, Brian Dromerhauser, Drew Dunn, Elliot Chang, Terry McNeely, our pal James Grimm, Rob White, Mike Tanzi. And, of course, don't forget, December 6th, in the Giggle Room, a night with Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. A lot of your hosts from your favorite shows here at Gov's Comedy Club Podcast will be on the stage doing some sets, doing some comedy. I'll be hosting Laura Patton, Kathy Arnold, Rosie Fiumara, Steve Kaminsky, Mark Hirschman, Mike Keegan is headlining, and special guest Greg Kritikos. That's going to be a lot of fun. And, of course, and then the very next week, out in McGuire's on December 13th, Knock 'em Dead Comedy, we're doing a fun holiday-themed murder mystery show for you. It's comedic, it's audience interactive, it's a lot of fun. Please join us for that. govs.com, govs.com. Check out their full schedule and make reservations to some great comedy shows. Go to knockemdeadcomedy.com to see what we got going on with our schedule and how you can hire us for your event. Excuse me. Frank, you got anything or no?
Nope, everything's good here.
And who's our musical guest next Thursday?
Next Thursday is Thanksgiving.
Oh, never mind.
2 weeks we'll have Karen Bella.
Karen Bella. Okay.
Yes.
Forgive me, Karen Bella. I have no idea who you are, but I will do my research. And, of course, again, don't forget the Funk Philharmonic. And, go see them on December 2nd. All right. Thanks again, everybody. And thanks again, Lee. And, time for us to go. We'll see you guys at 1 o'clock with Peter Schwartz. See you later.
Bye-bye.